I can still hear her voice cutting through the restaurant like a knife I never saw coming. "Oh my God, you're actually a waitress. How sad." My name is Alina, and this is the story of how my brother's fiancée humiliated me in front of my entire family, never knowing that the quiet, pathetic waitress pouring their water had the power to destroy the $1 million wedding of her dreams. I've been a waitress for 12 years at La Belle Epoque, one of the most exclusive restaurants in the city. Most people see the uniform and assume that's all I am. They don't know I own the place. They don't know I built it from a failing old bistro into a landmark that hosts celebrities, CEOs, and politicians. I chose to stay in the shadows, greeting guests, training staff, and living a quiet life. I never needed to prove anything to anyone. Until the night my brother brought her home. Marcus is my only sibling. We were always close growing up, or at least I thought we were. After our parents passed, I helped put him through college. I paid for his first apartment. I supported him when he was trying to find his footing in finance. He was my baby brother, and I loved him fiercely. When he told me he had proposed to Victoria, I was genuinely happy for him. He sounded excited. He said she was classy, ambitious, and sophisticated. I couldn't wait to meet the woman who had stolen his heart. The night they came to my restaurant for the big family introduction dinner, I decided to serve their table personally. I wanted it to be special. I wore my best uniform, had the sommelier pick the finest wine, and prepared a private tasting menu. I imagined warm hugs, laughter, and stories about how they met. I had no idea I was walking into the moment that would shatter my relationship with my brother forever. The table was loud and celebratory when I approached. Marcus lit up. "Alina, come meet Victoria." I smiled warmly and extended my hand. "It's so lovely to finally meet you, Victoria. Welcome to the family." She looked me up and down slowly, her perfectly contoured face twisting into a polite but condescending smile. Then she said the words that still echo in my mind. "Oh, you're a waitress here. That's cute. Must be tough making ends meet at your age." The table went awkwardly silent for a second. Marcus laughed nervously. "Victoria, babe, Alina has been here a long time." She waved her hand dramatically. "I just mean, it's admirable. Some people are fine staying in service roles. Not everyone can aim higher, right?" My heart cracked right there between the main course and dessert. I stood frozen, tray in hand, while my future sister-in-law tore down my dignity in front of my brother, my aunt, and 2 cousins. No one defended me, not even Marcus. I forced a smile, excused myself, and walked to the back kitchen where I broke down in silent tears for the first time in years. But what they didn't know that night was that I wasn't just any waitress. I was the owner, the founder, the woman who signed every major contract and held the power to make or break events in this city, including $1 million weddings. And Victoria had just declared war without realizing who she was insulting. The weeks after that dinner were some of the most painful of my life. Marcus called me the next day, but instead of apologizing for his fiancée, he defended her. "She didn't mean it like that, Alina. Victoria comes from a very wealthy family. She's just used to a different lifestyle. You have to understand." His words broke something deep inside me. This was the brother I had sacrificed for, the one I had protected. The one I quietly funded when he needed help with his down payment last year. Money I told him came from good tips. Victoria's insults didn't stop at that dinner. She began making little digs every time we saw each other. At the engagement party she threw at an upscale venue, she introduced me to her friends as Marcus's sister who works in hospitality. She asked me loudly if I could help coordinate the servers for their wedding because you know that world better than us. Each comment felt like another slap. I smiled through them all, but inside I was shattered. I started questioning my entire worth. Was I really just a failure who never amounted to anything? Had I wasted my life in service while my brother found a woman with real standards? The emotional toll was crushing. I would cry in my car after every family gathering. I stopped sleeping well. The restaurant, my pride and joy, started to feel heavy. For the first time, I wondered if I should have sold it years ago and done something more impressive in their eyes. What hurt the most was Marcus's silence. He watched his fiancée belittle me again and again and chose her every single time. The betrayal from him cut deeper than anything Victoria could say. He knew my story. He knew how hard I had worked. He knew the truth, but let her treat me like dirt to keep the peace with his future wife. I reached my lowest point 2 months before the wedding. I sat alone in my beautiful apartment above the restaurant, the one no one in my family had ever visited, and cried for the sisterly bond I would never have and the brother I felt I had already lost. Then something changed. A quiet strength began rising within me. I realized I had spent years shrinking myself so others could feel big. I had hidden my success to protect their egos. No more. I started making calls. I reached out to my network of vendors, planners, and luxury partners across the city. I discovered that Victoria had spared no expense on her dream wedding. A lavish $1.2 million ceremony and reception planned at the city's most exclusive historic mansion. Every major vendor was someone I knew personally. Many owed their success to the opportunities I had quietly given them through my restaurant. The power was in my hands. One quiet Tuesday afternoon, I made the decision that changed everything. I started with the venue. The mansion owner was a dear friend and longtime customer. One conversation was all it took. "I need a favor," I said softly. "The Bennett Caldwell wedding, please cancel the booking. Cite unforeseen circumstances." He didn't even ask why. He trusted me completely. Then I called the caterer, my own head chef's former business partner. Canceled. The florist, canceled. The luxury transportation company, canceled. The celebrity photographer, canceled. Even the custom designer gown Victoria had flown in from Paris. The designer suddenly discovered a scheduling conflict and refunded the deposit. I didn't do it with anger. I did it with calm, dignified precision. I never once said a bad word about Victoria. I simply withdrew the invisible support system that had made her perfect day possible. The chaos began 1 week before the wedding. Victoria called Marcus in hysterics. Everything was falling apart. No venue, no flowers, no caterer, no photographer. Her dream wedding was disintegrating piece by piece, and no one could explain why. Marcus called me in panic. "Alina, you know everyone in this industry. Please, you have to help us fix this." I stayed silent for a long moment, then spoke with a calm I had never felt before. "Marcus, do you remember the night Victoria called me a sad little waitress in front of our family? Do you remember how many times she humiliated me while you said nothing?" He tried to apologize then, but it was too late. I continued, "I won't be fixing anything. This is the consequence of treating people as beneath you. Maybe next time you'll both choose kindness." The wedding was officially canceled 4 days before the date. Victoria was devastated. Her social media, once filled with perfect couple photos and wedding planning, went silent. Her wealthy friends whispered. Her reputation as the girl with the fairytale wedding was gone. Marcus came to my restaurant alone one evening. He looked broken. He apologized through tears. He admitted he had been blind and weak. He said Victoria was devastated and finally understood how deeply she had hurt me. I forgave him not because he deserved it, but because I refused to carry bitterness in my heart. However, I made it clear that things would never go back to how they were. I would no longer shrink myself for their comfort. Victoria never apologized directly, but months later, I heard she had become much quieter and more humble. Today, I still run my restaurant with love and pride. I no longer hide who I am. I've started mentoring young women who feel invisible in their own families, and I've grown even closer to the friends who truly see and celebrate me. If you're listening to this and someone in your life makes you feel small, whether it's family, a partner, or someone you thought respected you, remember this. Your worth is not defined by their words. Sometimes the most powerful response isn't screaming or fighting back. It's simply stepping into your full power and letting the consequences unfold naturally. I'm Alina. I chose dignity over drama, and in the end, that was the greatest revenge of all. Never let anyone convince you that your beautiful, meaningful life is just anything. You are enough. Your journey is enough. And one day, the right people will see your light without you having to dim it for them. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched you, Share it with someone who needs to hear they are more than what others see. You matter, your dreams matter, and your kindness will always be more powerful than their cruelty.